This is not creating safety. It's certainly not creating safety when a huge percentage of the shootings that have taken place so far this year in Minneapolis have been by ICE. So let's be very clear. I've seen conduct from ICE that is disgusting and is intolerable. If it were your city, it would be unacceptable there too. A lot that we don't know at this time, but what I can tell you for certain is that this is not sustainable. This is an impossible situation that our city is presently being put in. And at the same time, we are trying to find a way forward to keep people safe, to protect our neighbors, to maintain order. And we're in a position right now where we have residents that are asking the very limited number of police officers that we have to fight ICE agents on the street, to stand by their neighbors. We cannot be at a place right now in America where we have two governmental entities that are literally fighting one another. Why are we put in this position? We're put in this position because we have approximately 600 police officers in Minneapolis, far fewer that are able to work at any given time. And there are approximately 3,000 ICE agents in the area. 3,000. The 600 police officers that we have are charged on any given day with investigating crime, stopping homicides from taking place, preventing carjackings. That's the work of a police officer in a city.
That is not true. There is one person that's been shot. It is a non-life-threatening injury, and they have been transported to the hospital. The remainder of the residents has been cleared. We did have one call of, I believe, a woman having an anxiety attack in the basement of the same residence, the same building. But to my understanding, no one else has been transported to the hospital.
No children involved in this?
To my understanding, no.
DHS has said that two other people came out of an apartment and started attacking the officer with shovels, and that the original person that they were looking for also did that. What has your investigation told you so far?
So the question was that people had come out of the residence and attacked federal law enforcement with shovels. The understanding that we have at this time is that this incident began on 94. The individual drove towards the residence, had some sort of accident outside the residence, ran towards the house, and got into a struggle with federal law enforcement. I believe there's a broom and like a snow shovel that's on the scene. And yes, I have heard information that that some individual, at least one person, may have assaulted federal law enforcement. Yes. I am not aware if that's the same person who was shot or if that's someone else.
DHS says that this was a targeted enforcement operation and that the ICE officer was attacked. And I do think that that is exactly the type of situation that we want as few of those situations as possible to transpire. And yet it seems like all the time there are all kinds of interactions happening where ICE officers are put in danger. And I'm not sure if it's all just because of, violent people attacking them. Sometimes it's also the tactics that I think are putting them at risk. With vehicle stops, which have been some reporting about how these vehicle stops are so dangerous, and more of them are happening.
Today, we are talking about a developing situation in Minneapolis, USA involving a federal immigration enforcement shooting. ICE Immigration and Customs Enforcement has confirmed that two separate shooting incidents are now part of this unfolding story, and public reaction has been intense. Before we begin, let me be very clear. This video is not political advocacy. It's a fact-based breakdown of what has been reported so far. using verified information and official statements. Late last night in North Minneapolis, federal agents were involved in a shooting during an enforcement operation. City officials confirmed that an ICE agent shot a man in the leg after the situation escalated. This incident did not happen in isolation. Just 1 week earlier, in the same city, Renee Nicole Good was fatally shot by an ICE agent, a case that has already triggered protests, public outrage, and calls for accountability. On 6 Jan, 37-year-old Renee Nicole Good, described as a community observer who was documenting ICE agent activist, was shot and killed by a federal immigration officer. Federal authorities claim the agent acted in self-defense. Federal authorities claim the agent acted in self-defense, stating that a vehicle was used as a weapon. Local officials and eyewitnesses, however, have challenged that narrative, saying the available video evidence close does not clearly support that conclusion. Since the Minneapolis has seen public protest, vigorous, and increasing pressures on authorities for transparency. So, this case has become the foundation for a much larger debate. Okay, let's talk what federal government position said about this. The Department of Homeland Security has stated that ICE agent acted in reasonable fear, emphasizing that the use of force was a response to a perceived threat. From the federal perspective, this is a law enforcement decision under pressure, and officials argue that agents must be allowed to protect themselves in volatile situations. So, what local governments and critics said about this? At that state and city level leaders, including the Minneapolis mayor and other officials, have pushed back strongly. They have described federal statement as incomplete or misleading and are demanding an independent investigation, greater transparency, and clear accountability mechanism. This disagreement is now public and ongoing. Now discuss about the public reaction. Online and on the streets reaction has been deeply divided. Some believe the agent's action were justified given the risk involved. Others say the shooting unnecessary and potentially an example of excessive force. The conversation has expanded beyond one incident and now include immigration enforcement policies, use of force standards, and public trust in federal authority. So, according to me, there are two competing narratives. Federal authorities says this was self-defense. State officials and community members say transparency is missing. At this stage, independent verification is still pending, and until full investigations findings are made public, drawing firm conclusions in either direction would be premature. That said, incident like this inevitably raise broader questions about oversight, accountability, and how enforcement actions are carried out in civilian communities. Those questions deserve calm, factual discussions, not speculations. So, it's important for viewers. Let me be clear once again. I am not promoting or opposing any side here. This commentary is based on verified reporting and publicly available facts. If you are interested in future updates and investigations continue, let me know in the comments and I'll cover them with the same neutral research driven approach.